A ship was found drifting. Food still warm, cargo untouched. But every single person on board had vanished. They told you it was a mystery, but they didn't tell you. The captain was experienced and cautious. The lifeboat was missing, but never found the ship was still perfectly seaworthy. On November 5th, 1872, the Mary Celeste left New York Harbor. The morning was cold, but calm. Ships moved slowly across the water, their masts rising like shadows against the sky. On board was Captain Benjamin Briggs, a man known for discipline and caution. He was not reckless. He was not careless. He was the kind of captain sailors trusted with their lives. With him were his wife, Sarah, quiet and supportive, and their infant daughter, Sophia. It was not common for families to travel on such voyages, but it was not unheard of either. 7 crew members completed the team, each one experienced, each one chosen carefully. This was not an untrained crew. This was not a careless journey. Everything had been planned. Below deck, the cargo had already been secured. Over 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol filled the hold, each one tightly packed, each one carefully positioned to avoid shifting at sea. The smell of alcohol lingered faintly in the air, sharp but controlled. A cargo like this required attention. One mistake, one spark, one leak could turn the entire ship into danger. But Captain Briggs had checked everything, again and again. Before departure, Briggs wrote a letter to his mother. His words were calm, confident. He described the ship as being in beautiful condition. He expected no trouble, no delay. To him, this was just another voyage, another crossing of the Atlantic. At that moment, everything was normal. Nothing felt wrong. Nothing seemed unusual. And yet, that would be the last time anyone could say that. A few days later, the weather began to change. The wind grew unstable. The sea shifted in ways experienced sailors could feel, even before seeing it. So Captain Briggs made a careful decision. He guided the ship to wait near Staten Island, allowing the weather to settle. It was a small delay, a smart one. A captain who rushed into bad weather was a captain who risked lives. Briggs was not that kind of man. For a short time, the ship remained still, floating quietly, waiting. Sarah used that calm moment to write a letter. Simple words, personal thoughts. She spoke about the journey, about hope, about staying connected to family. It was an ordinary moment, a peaceful pause. No fear that no danger, just a family at sea. Then the weather cleared. The skies opened, the wind softened, and the Mary Celeste finally moved forward into the open Atlantic. At the same time, another ship was preparing for its own journey, the Dei Grazia. It left from New Jersey on November 15th. Its captain, David Morehouse, was also experienced, also careful. The sea was not new to him. He understood its silence. He understood its warnings. Some accounts suggest that Morehouse and Briggs may have known each other, perhaps not as close friends, but as men in the same profession. Men who understood the same risks. Men who lived by the same rules of the ocean. But whether they truly knew each other remains uncertain. What is certain is this. Both ships sailed into the same ocean, and only one would be found without its people. Days passed. The Atlantic stretched endlessly in every direction. There was no land, no fixed point, only water, sky, and movement. The crew of the Mary Celeste followed the routine. Adjust sails, check direction, record position. Everything depended on routine, because at sea routine is survival. The last entry in the ship's log was dated November 25th. It recorded their position near the Azores, close to the island of Santa Maria. Nothing unusual was written. No warning. No sign of fate. Just another normal entry. Then nothing. No more writing. No more records. No more updates. Just silence. And silence at sea is never a good sign. On December 5th, 1872, nearly a month after the Mary Celeste left New York, the Dei Grazia spotted something in the distance. At first, it looked like any other ship. But as they got closer, something felt wrong. The sails were not fully set. Some were loose. Others caught the wind unevenly. The ship moved, but not with purpose. It drifted, corrected slightly, then drifted again, like something trying to move, without control. Captain David Morhace watched carefully. He felt it immediately. Something was not right. He ordered his crew to move closer. Slowly, carefully, they approached. No signal came from the ship. No flag raised. No movement on deck. Only silence. A boarding team was sent across. They stepped onto the deck, expecting confusion. Maybe illness, maybe damage. Maybe a crew too weak to respond. But what they found was something far stranger. The ship was empty. Completely empty. No crew. No passengers. No voices. No movement. And yet, it did not feel abandoned in the usual way. It felt paused, as if life had been there moments before, and then simply stopped. Inside the captain's cabin, everything remained in place. Clothes neatly arranged. Personal belongings untouched. No signs of struggle. No signs of panic. Some reports even claimed that food had been prepared and left behind. A meal that was never finished. A moment frozen in time. Below deck, the cargo remained almost untouched. The barrels were still secured. Nothing had been looted. Nothing had been destroyed. But something was missing. The lifeboat was gone. The navigation instruments were missing. And so was every single person on board. The crew of the Dei Gracia stood in silence, trying to understand what they were seeing. A ship in good condition, still able to sail, still carrying its cargo, but with no one left to guide it. It wasn't just that the crew was gone. It was that everything else looked like they had planned to come back. The Dei Gracia crew took control of the ship. Carefully, they guided it across the ocean, all the way to Gibraltar. There, an investigation began. Officials examined everything. The ship, the cargo, the structure, every detail. There was no major damage, no sign of collision, no evidence of attack. But there were strange details. Some of the alcohol barrels had leaked. Not all, but enough. The fumes from industrial alcohol are dangerous, invisible, unpredictable. One theory began to form. Perhaps the crew feared an explosion. Perhaps they believed the ship was no longer safe. In panic, they may have lowered the lifeboat, planning to stay close, planning to return once the danger passed. But something went wrong. Maybe the rope snapped. Maybe the sea shifted suddenly. Maybe the wind carried the ship away faster than expected. And in a moment, they were separated from the Mary Celeste, watching it drift away, unable to reach it, lost in the open ocean. But even that theory is not perfect, because no trace of the lifeboat was ever found. No bodies, no wreckage, no final message, nothing. Other theories were suggested. Mutiny, pirates, even the possibility of something unexplained. But none of them fit. There were no signs of violence, no blood confirmed, no struggle, just absence. Captain Briggs, his wife, his child, and the entire crew had vanished without a trace. To this day, no one knows what truly happened. No one knows why they left. No one knows where they went. And somewhere in history, a fully functional ship was found sailing alone. Its crew gone. Its story unfinished. If you enjoy real historical mysteries like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. There's always another true story waiting to be told.